So find your way onto the floor, lying on your back, and leave your feet in standing. So we're gonna do some low back openers, hip openers, and just breath work as well. I'm finding that the breath work has a tendency to help everyone through the good times and the less good times, the more challenging times. So as we find ourselves lying flat on the floor, taking the left hand and putting it between the belly button and the pubic bone, and the right hand above the belly button and the breastbone. So they're pretty close together. And I think you guys can see me okay. If you need to look, take a nice deep breath in, inhaling all the way to that lower hand. And then exhaling all the way out. And so we're gonna do this 3 times, real nice, long, deep, and then we're gonna hold on the exhale. So deep breath in. And exhaling out. And deep breath in. And exhaling out. And one more time, deep breath in. And blow it out. Hold the exhale out. So let it all out. Just hold it. Hold it. Hold it. Inhale all the way to the top of the lungs. Hold it. Hold it. Hold it. And begin on the exhale with 3-part breath. Exhaling, exhaling, exhaling. Inhaling, inhaling, inhaling. Creating this even pattern of exhaling, 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 and inhaling, inhaling, and inhaling. Now, I just noticed I was holding my arms up. What would it feel like to actually rest those elbows against the floor as you're running through this 3-part breath? And we're actually not running, we're breathing through it. And notice how the body begins to soften into the mat. And how Mother Earth really lifts up underneath us, just simply supporting us. And I'm gonna grow quiet. I'm gonna do this 3-part breath with you. We're gonna do several rounds. So as I grow quiet, know that I'm still here. The computer has not frozen. I'm still here, and we'll keep breathing. And I'll check in and after each 5, okay? Just so you know I'm still here. Five more, we're still going. Inhale, inhale, inhale. Exhale, exhale, exhale. This time, inhale and hold. Hold for a count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and exhale. All the way out. More, and hold it. Hold it. Hold it. And inhale, returning to normal breath. And notice how your normal breath is more even. It might be a little bit more deep. And so breath work is really important. It helps to equalize the oxygen intake in our blood. Today we'll breathe for Jake, Linda's brother, since he needs all the energetic help he can get. And we'll breathe for ourselves so that as we move through our practice today, we can allow whatever comes up to come up. And whatever needs to happen to happen. And so we're going to add to our breath. As we inhale, we're going to drop our tailbone down to the floor. And as we exhale, we're going to roll it in. So we're doing pelvic tilts. Glutes are soft, inhaling, rocking down. Exhaling, belly button to the spine, lifting up, tailbone slides down. So if you want to keep your hands so that you can feel the lungs expand and the belly expand as you release down and exhale in, that's a nice way to do it. If not, you can place your hands under your hips or now down beside you. Either one is fine. I like having the sensation of just encouraging that belly button on the exhale to go to the spine and then lift up to the heart. Sometimes it's not a huge movement. Sometimes it's just an awareness, a movement of awareness, bringing our attention to the belly button, dropping down to the spine, lifting up to the heart. We're going to have 3 more of these. We're going to add on to it. That's 2. And this one is 3. Hold it. Hold it. You can continue to breathe, but hold the pelvic tilt. Hold that tailbone sliding down the floor. Now, from right here, take your hands, and we're still holding that belly button and lift your head up and lengthen the spine. You'll feel as you do that a slight tip in the head, and your ears will come back in line with your shoulders. Nicely done. We're going to bring our hands down beside us and then up above, and then we're going to just lift our right knee, exhale, inhale down, lift our left knee, exhale, inhale down. So even though we're still holding that belly button down and up, we're now adding in another layer of core work called the psoas, which is underneath rectus abdominis. It runs down either side of the spine. And we're doing this on the exhale, so we're walking it out. For those of you who want a deeper challenge, I'll talk you through it, but I'm not going to do it today. You can straighten your leg out and lengthen it out and lower it all the way to the floor. So maybe I can do it. Exhale down, up, all the way down, up, all the way down. It just changes. Up, all the way down. Core is still engaged. That means the belly button's to the floor, lifting up to the heart. We're going to do 5 more of these each side. 5. Breathing. Staying with it. 4. 3. Remember that belly button's working down. 2. And last one. There it is, right there. Good job. Bring that right knee in, straighten the leg. Okay? So this left foot is still going to be flat on the floor. Feel that belly button drop back down to the floor, lift it up. If you want to bring a strap in here, you can, not necessary. Lengthen through that heel. Hands hook behind your thigh here, behind your upper leg, but not behind the knee. Now work through that heel and then draw it in. Exhale. Drawing it in. Find your breath. Nicely done. Release that knee down. Let go of the hand. Switch it out. Other leg comes in. Draw that knee up. Lengthen through that ankle. Lengthen through that heel. Draw it in. You might feel this in your hamstrings. You might feel it in the IT band. You might feel it in your core. Keep lengthening through that neck. Keep that spine long. Breathing into it. Nowhere to go. Nothing to do. Feel that body settle in. Feel one layer at a time, letting go. 2 more breaths. And then release it down. Nicely done. We're going to come back to the right leg, pick that up, cross it over the left knee. So we're heading to reverse pigeon, and we're heading to reverse pigeon today because we're going to eventually switch it over into full pigeon. So with the knee open, you might take your hands and encourage that knee open. This might be your posture right here. Remembering to keep that belly button down to the floor and lifting up. If you have this space, let your hands come between your legs, hooking your elbow on your knee and lengthen through that left leg. So just like we were when we were drawing that foot in, do it now with the right leg crossed, opening up. You're going to begin to feel subtle changes in the hip, the IT band, deep in the groin, feeling that area of the pubic symphysis begin to soften down to the earth as the tailbone slides down underneath you. Breathe into it. Connecting with your breath, giving a little bit of resistance here in the arms as the leg is wanting to lower down. Bring it in a little bit closer. You might feel it a little deeper in the hip. 2 more breaths. And last one, release that left leg down. Now draw it in a little bit tighter, a little bit deeper. You're going to feel it in the right hip. Breathe into it. Maybe a little rocking side to side, very subtle, doesn't have to be big. That's a round joint in there. So those muscles all around it are used to going in a circle, working in a rotation movement. So as we rock side to side, we're inviting them to do that. As we get older, I find that we move forward and backwards and less side to side. We wiggle around so much less than we did when we were kids, lowering it down. So let's bring some of that childlike play back into it. Release that right leg, straighten out that right knee, flex through that heel, lift it up, lift it down. Exhale up, inhale down. Exhale up, inhale down, belly button to the floor, exhale up, inhale down, one more, exhale up, inhale down, lower it all the way down, and then slide it up to standing, bringing that left leg over the knee. So we're moving right into the other side. Encourage that knee to open up. Yes. Feel where the release is. Feel where in the body does the release happen. Lifting it up, lengthening through that right leg. Exhale through the heel, flex through the foot, open that knee, open it up. You never know for sure where the release will come from. The thinking mind often says, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that. But it knows nothing. It's there to balance our checkbook. Everything else is spirit guided. And I've been practicing spirit guided checkbook balancing also, which oddly enough is working really well. So who knows, maybe thinking mind is completely unnecessary. Breathe into it. Find your breath. Open that knee up. Connect the elbow to the knee, opening it wider. Two more breaths. And drop that knee down. Draw it in a little bit closer. A little bit further. Breathing into it. Feeling the release happen in its own time. Notice how this side's different from the other side. Each side is a little bit different. Exhaling, lowering that right foot back down to the floor, releasing that left foot, lower it down, lift it up, lower it down, lift it up, lower it down, lift it up. One more time, lower it down, lift it up, and bring it back to standing. We're gonna open the feet wide, open the arms into a T position. We're gonna roll that belly button down to the floor. Do one of those really deep pelvic tilt moves. Hold it in there, keep breathing. And then we're gonna exhale the knees to the right. Inhale it up, exhale it to the left. Inhale it up, exhale it to the right. Inhale it up, exhale it, inhale it up. Good job. This time we're going to stay to the right. We're going to roll all the way to the right and come all the way up, spinning all the way around into tabletop. So that's kind of a long journey, actually. Coming right up into tabletop. Find those hands. Spread wide. Elbows facing each other. Knees underneath the hips. Inhale, dropping down. Exhaling up. Inhale, dropping down. Exhaling up. Inhaling. We're dropping down into cow. I'm telling you to drop down. You might just drop down onto the floor and take a nap. Some people do that. I've done it before. One more time, all the way through. Inhale, dropping down. Exhaling all the way up. Nicely done. We're going to inhale. We're going to walk our hands forward about a half of a step, giving ourselves some space. And then we're going to come forward and circle around. More circles in the hips. So we're creating this kind of big platform. If this hurts your knees, you can either put a blanket under your knees, or you can maybe not walk out so far in the hands. And then reverse it, go the other way. Make sure those hips are opening into their own time and space. Two more. Nicely done. Last one. Coming back to center, walk those hands back. Inhale, curl the toes under, and exhale, lifting right up into downward facing dog. Do a couple of little adjustments here. Your knees are still bent. They don't have to go all the way to the floor. They can be bent. The heels don't have to go all the way to the floor. If they can, great. But on the next inhale, inhale up onto the toes and exhale into the right foot. Inhaling up, exhaling into the left foot. Walking the dog, inhaling and exhaling. And just notice if you have a block handy and if you have a blanket nearby as we get ready to set up for pigeon. So we did a lot of warming in the hips, inhaling under both toes, exhaling all the way back into your heels as deeply as you can go. Spin those knees out to the little toe. Soften into this, let it be what it is. And as you're ready, Go ahead and draw your heels together and open your knees and lower back into child's pose. I want to give everybody permission to go to child's pose at any time during this practice, because pigeon can be a really big, deep, dramatic pose. And if we do pigeon upright, and that doesn't work for you, turn back on your back and do it reversed. Do reverse pigeon. It's okay to do that. I'm going to work deep in these hips today. Open up the quads. We're going to do it slowly and methodically. So we're going to inhale and we're going to rise back up. At this point, find your blanket or your block, whatever you're going to use, and set it on your right side because we're going to start in the right hip with pigeon. Okay, so I'm going to just fold my blanket into fourths because that's about what I need. And then I'm going to reestablish my table. Inhale, curl my toes under, exhale, up into downward facing dog. And I'm going to lift through my right leg and then exhale it all the way up in between my hands. Now, this right here might be your posture today, even with your toe bent on the back leg, because you may not be able to drop into this deeply. If you have the space to drop that back heel and extend the foot, and then bring your block or your blanket underneath that right hip. Support yourself as much as you can. Now, you can also bring blocks into this to hold yourself more upright. You can work from the floor. But the trick here is to engage that belly button to the spine, lift it up tall. Now do a slight lift in the pelvic floor. That's the word I'm looking for, lift. So it's not a cinching down in the pelvic floor. It's a lift, okay? So breathe into it. Now what's happening here is that the front of the left leg, which is where the psoas is getting a really beautiful long stretch. And the other side, the right hip is getting a deep opening. And know that it's okay to go to child's pose. Find your breath. We're going to be here for a few breaths. Remember the inhale and the exhale. Soften out of your fingertips if they're holding you up. If it's too far to the ground to be on your palms, you can use your fists to hold you up a little higher. But don't overextend those fingers. Allow your hands to be supportive. Find your breath. 5 more breaths, and then we're going to move. We're going to change this. We're not moving out of it, but we're going to move into it deeper, more gently. I actually think even though it's deeper, it's less stressful for me. 3 more breaths. 2 more. And last one, inhale, exhale, lengthen through the crown and then drop all the way over that front leg. Keep going. You can come down onto your forearms if you want. If you have the space to lie all the way down, do that. Breathe into it. And know that if your body's trembling, that's okay. That's part of the opening. And at any time, you're free to move out of this. If you want to deepen this, you can bring your foot of the right leg more forward. But not happening in this body today. It's just an option. Breathing into it. If you place your hands in prayer in front of you and cross your left thumb over your right thumb, this is a little mudra that'll give you a little support to be here. Yoga mudras are hand positions which flow the energy directionally, helps to be supportive. Keep breathing. One more breath. Release the hands, bring those hands back under the shoulders, lifting yourself up, lifting up a little bit higher. See how high you can go without falling out of it. You can bring your hands behind you and clasp your hands and lift up for 3 breaths. 2 and 1. Release them down, coming back, and then bringing yourself out of it. Curl that toe under and lift back up into downward facing dog. Do this slowly. See the difference between the right side and the left side. Move your blanket to the other side. Drop down into child's pose. Feet together, knees apart. Sinking back. Do this slowly. Slow, slow, slow. See if you can soften into those knees a little bit more, even if it's 1 millimeter. Breathe into your back body. Nice deep long breath all the way into your back. All the way to your tail. Exhale all the way out. Again, nice deep breath in. And all the way out, rising back up into tabletop. Come to tabletop first. Drop down into cow, inhaling into cow. Exhaling up into cat. Inhaling down into cow. Exhaling up into cat. Notice the difference. Feel how different each side feels. The front of one side might be a little more open and the back of the other side is open. Last one, all the way through. Inhaling. And exhaling. Inhaling, growing long. Curl those toes under. Exhaling right up into downward facing dog. Find your dog. Lift through the left leg slightly. And then bring that knee all the way forward. Being mindful that if this side doesn't work for you, you can always flip over and do reverse pigeon as well. Now, remember that you might be up higher than what I don't want to have happen is I don't want everybody to lean over this way, which is what I want to do today, is I want to lean over into that. So the work is staying straight up and down, long in the spine. Knowing that if you need more of an opening, you can walk that foot out. And it's too far for me, so I'm going to go back to tucked a little bit more. Drop out of the shoulders. Nice and tall. Lengthen back, long. Feel it in the front of the right leg. Deep in the belly. That's that psoas. The muscle of the soul. Finding your breath. Nowhere to go. Nothing to do. Just hanging out in pigeon. Finding your breath. All the way down to that lower belly. Spine is long. Belly button is reaching back and lifting up. Tailbone sliding down the body. All those little micro movements. 4 more breaths. And last one, lengthen long and fold down over that leg. Fold it down. May not be able to fold as far this side. That's okay. Just notice that. Notice the differences. There's always a difference from right to left. It's not a bad thing. It just is a thing. Breathing into it. Again, if you want to take on prayer position in the hands on the floor, crossing the left thumb over the right thumb. This is the nurturing nurturing, supportive, supporting the body through the journey currently on. Finding your breath. Seeing if you can soften into this one more layer. Three more breaths. We're almost there. Nicely done. Double check that core. Mine went on vacation. Bring it in. Belly button up to the spine, lifting up to the heart. Now, walk it back. How high can you go in pigeon? Can you reach your arms behind you? I'm not sure I can on this side. There we go. Lift them up. Some of you can grab your ankle and do a little twist. That's not happening in my body today. And release those arms down, release them out, bring them around. Gently slide that blanket or block out of the way, coming back into downward facing dog. Doesn't matter if it's graceful looking or not. Just find your way there. Sink back, draw those heels together, open the knees, sink back, all the way back into child's pose. Feel that spine elongate. Feel the breath deepen. This is a place where you can let the core go and let it soften. And as doing that softening, see if you can sink back into those heels, dropping it down. Child's pose can be a really deep working pose. Nicely done. Inhaling, looking ahead, coming up, curling those toes under, and lifting up into downward facing dog. Walk those hands back. Walk them back. Coming into forward fold. Make sure those feet are parallel. Mine are a little off this morning. Walk them back. Drop it down. And then inhale, rolling up. Help yourself if you need to. Coming all the way up into high mountain. Oh, hello. Cut my head off. There you go. Inhaling up. Exhaling, swan dive down. All the way down, inhaling halfway up. Exhaling down. Inhaling all the way up, reverse swan dive. And hands come into mountain pose, standing in tall mountain. Breathing into it, nowhere to go. Nothing to do, just standing in mountain. Pick those toes up off the floor. Feel the 4 points of the foot connect to the earth. I'm wobbling around like I have no balance today. So sometimes that happens. It's a good awareness to have that, sometimes we consciously don't realize that we might be out of balance. Let's set our little toe down. The fourth toe, third, second, and the big toe. Now they're all softly setting on the mat. There for balance. Nice deep breath in, inhaling the hands up overhead. You have a choice here. You can clasp your hands together if you like, or you can leave them apart. And we're going to exhale into our right hip. So exhaling back into our right hip, into half moon. So the trick here is to feel even weight on our feet as we work through the side body. Now, I'm beginning to recognize a collapse forward. See what happens when you draw that belly button back and spin the heart open and maybe look towards that top hand. Breathe into it. Find that space. Nicely done. Inhaling, coming back to center. Exhaling, swan dive forward, all the way forward. My swan dives are a little less than graceful. It's like the swan's got a broken wing. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, down. Inhale, reverse swan dive all the way up. Exhaling, the hands down beside you. Lift those toes up. Right back to the beginning, mountain. Drop the feet down. Sorry, how about if we drop our little toe down? Fourth, third, second, and big toe. Softly allowing those toes to sit on the mat. Inhaling our hands up. Exhaling, reaching for the wall with our left hip. Coming into half moon Ardha Chandrasana. There it is. Spin open that heart. Breathe into it. Feel that side body open. Maybe turn and look at that top hand. Inhaling, coming back to center. Exhaling, swan dive forward. All the way forward. Hands come to either side of the feet. And then bend the knees and walk those hands forward as we head back into downward facing dog. So here's our dog. Take a nice deep breath in. Feel that tail go to the ceiling. Inhale, exhale. 2 more breaths. Look in front of you and then head down into tabletop. Back where we started. Back where we started, circling around those wrists and those hips. Circling it around. And reversing it. Noticing where you might have a catch. There might be a little pause somewhere, kind of a glitch. It's okay, just notice it. When you come up to that glitch, back off of it a little bit and then ease into it. Did we reverse directions? I think so, but let's do it again in case I didn't. And the other way, just 2 times. And coming right back to center, hands come underneath those shoulders. Inhale, drop down into cow. Exhale, up into cat. Down into cow. Exhaling up into cat. 1 more time, all the way down. And all the way up. Walk those knees forward. We're going to spin around and we're going to sit down into Dandasan, seated staff pose. So Dandasan is pretty powerful in the fact that the back of our body, when open, helps to keep the rest of our body flexible. So we're going to inhale our hands up overhead and we're exhaling and swan dive forward in drawing that belly button back and lifting it to the heart, lengthen long in the crown. My Dandasan is a little tight today, a little inflexible in my life, I guess. So I'm going to just sit with that and be okay with it and allow it to open when it's ready. Pushing the edge, coming up to it, backing off of it. Knowing that our edge changes with the exhale. Inhaling, coming up, bringing that right knee with us, okay? So you have three choices here. You can hook your arm around your knee, which is the choice I'm going to use, and then bring that right hand all the way around behind you into a nice deep twist, looking over your shoulder, working through your left heel. Now, for those of you who are a little more flexible, you can anchor here, or you can go into the binding pose, which I'm not even going to show because I cannot do it. But those of you who can do bound pose, bound twist, then you know how. So, yay. Breathe into it. Find your breath. Knowing that twists are about release, wringing out, releasing anything that is no longer serving us. Four more breaths. Drop out of your shoulders, lengthen through your crown. If you're leaning on that back arm, bring it in and lean on it. That'll help you to be upright. 2 more breaths. Last one, release the head, release the shoulders, coming back to center, lengthening out of that right leg, coming back into Dandasan. Inhaling the hands up, exhaling forward. Notice what's different. Notice if that core movement is lifting and lifting you out of your pelvis, lifting out of your crown. Draw those ears back over your shoulders, grow long in the crown. I always like to imagine myself a giraffe when I do this because they're always so long. And then growing taller, energetically growing really tall. On the exhale, see if you can push that edge just a little. And then inhaling, coming up, bringing that left leg with you. Again, 3 choices. So I'm going to choose the first one, hooking my arm around my knee. Inhaling, drawing that left arm all the way around, scooping it around, and twisting into it. Breathing into it, dropping out of the shoulders, looking over your shoulder. Find your breath. Notice if you're leaning. I believe I might be leaning a little bit. Engage that core. Know where the twist is for you. Nicely done. Looking back with your head, following with your shoulders, bringing it back, walking that foot in, opening up into Cobbler's pose. Bring it in. Letting your hands rest on either side of your ankles so that they can encourage the feet together. And then if you need to, you can press open your knees. I don't need that, but some people, if you're here, it's okay. You can work your elbows into it. It's a process of letting go. And it's interesting, this is the one direction that I am flexible. I'm very inflexible in my hamstrings, so Dandasan is very, very challenging for me, but my adductors have a tendency to be more flexible. It's an interesting phenomenon because I struggle with tightness in my right hip, but yet I can do cobblers. So I don't know. Looking for balance in all areas. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale, lead with your heart. Move forward 2 inches. Inhale it in. Exhale, lead forward another 2 inches. 2 inches might be 2 millimeters. That's okay. So the trick here is to hinge at the hips, no losing it in the spine. This is really, really about hinging at the hips and letting the opening happen in the low back. Breathe into it. Nicely done. Inhaling, coming back up, drawing those knees together. Lengthen out the feet. Coming back to Dandasan for the last one. Nice deep breath in, inhaling in, exhaling, flying forward. What is different? Can you reach your toes? Can you reach your ankles? Can you reach your knees? It matters not. It matters that you're on your mat. When you show up on your mat, you're showing up in life. Life on the mat. 3 more breaths. 2 more. Last one, inhaling, coming up. I'm going to scooch myself down just a little bit so that I'm more on my mat. Walk your feet into standing and then roll yourself down, helping yourself get there if you need it. All the way back down. Starting back where we started to lying on our back. Walk those feet in closely to your behind. If you have a block and you want to use it, you can. Preparing for a bridge. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale it out into a pelvic tilt. We're going to do 4 more of these. Inhale it out. Exhale into pelvic tilt. Inhale it out. Exhale it into pelvic tilt. Inhale, last one. Exhale, inhale, exhale. Press into that floor. Press, press, press. Press those feet into the floor and begin to lift up into bridge. Letting the physics of the belly button lifting to your spine and up to your heart, and the feet pressing into the earth, and a subtle lift in the pelvic floor. And then what does it feel like to deepen this by tightening your gluteals? Give a little push with the glutes. And then once you get up there, what does it feel like to soften them? And then engage them. And soften them. And engage them. And soften. Now, we're keeping our knees together because we're holding that block between our knees, remember? Well, the knees are not together, but they're engaged. That's a better word. Exhaling, inhaling, release, exhaling, contract. So all we're doing is contracting and releasing the glutes while in bridge. 3 more. Last one. Lift it up, give your full expression. You can clasp your hands under bridge if you want. And we're going to stay here. And for those of you who are familiar with meditation and motion, when the time comes, you can go there. And if the time is not coming for you, then hang out in bridge. Find your way. So we'll be here for a few breaths. I'm still here. I might grow quiet as I journey into my own meditation and motion. Remembering that just because I have one does not mean it's the same as yours. No 2 bodies are the same. Breathing through your experience. Finding your way. If you're still in bridge, keep breathing. We're going to have 5 more breaths, long, slow breath. Intentional. Discovering our own meditation and motion. Discovering our own strength and bridge, wherever you are. Last breath. So if you're in bridge, give your full expression. And on the next exhale, lower down one vertebrae at a time. And if you're in meditation and motion, find your way into knees at your chest, gently rocking side to side. So the benefit of rocking side to side with your knees and chest is twofold. One, the opposite posture of a back bend, which bridge is a back bend, would be a forward fold, which knees in the chest is a forward fold. Plus, when you begin to rock your knees side to side, then you're also giving your low back a little bit of a massage. Now ask yourself, oh great wise self, is there anything else I need? I've done some twisting, but I might need another twist. I've done some forward folds, I might need another one. Honor it, whatever it is. And as you honor these last few movements, begin to find your way into the last posture of the day, Shavasana. Lengthening through the left leg, lengthening through the right leg. You might give a little jiggle to everything to make sure that it fits nicely on the floor. If lying flat on the floor is not comfortable to you, then bring your feet to standing and drop your knees together. It's nice to contain the heat that you've built by covering with a blanket. Allow your hands to fall open to receiving. Feel your breath begin to grow shallow. And your eyes grow heavy. As I grow quiet, as you drink in this last posture of the day, Shavasana. And gently begin to deepen your breath. Wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. And as you're ready, roll to your right side. Taking your time to invite your body back into today, back into now. And as you're ready, come to seated. Hands at your heart. We'll end with one longly sounding Om. So we'll take a deep breath in, let it out, and then do another breath in Om. So here we go. Deep breath in. Let it out. Deep breath in to Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. May you be guided through today with the wisdom deep inside. Namaste.